For almost half a century, we've had this tiny, lone machine, humanity's farthest traveler, just whispering back to us from the edge of everything we know. But not long ago, that whisper changed. And then it just stopped. So today, we're going to dig in and try to figure out what exactly happened to Voyager 1. I mean, just think about that for a second. Since 1977, through all the changes our world has seen, new presidents, tech revolutions, you name it, Voyager 1 was this constant. It was always out there, sending this steady stream of data back home. And here's the really weird part. The signal didn't just cut out. No, it started speaking a language we just couldn't understand. The message was structured, it was coherent, but the information inside it was impossible. It was just wrong. And then, after sending one last perfectly formed burst of this totally bizarre new language, the line just went dead. Our most distant wanderer, our voice in the dark, was finally and completely silent. Okay, so let's get into it. To really get a handle on this mystery, you first have to understand the machine itself. Voyager 1 is basically a relic, right? It's this incredible masterpiece of 1970s engineering that we flung out into the void. Its first mission was to check out the outer planets, and after that, well, the mission was just to keep on going. And for decades, it did its job perfectly. I mean, from the moment it launched, to taking that legendary pale blue dot photo of Earth, to becoming the very first thing humans ever made to enter the space between the stars. It was predictable. It was reliable. Until it wasn't. You have to understand just how alone this thing is. It is 15 billion miles from home. At that kind of distance, a radio signal moving at the speed of light takes almost 2 full days just to make a round trip. It's a distance so huge, it's honestly kind of hard to even wrap your head around. So this is where the story really kicks off. This is the moment that steady, reliable whisper from the depths of space started to sound, well, really strange. The truly bizarre thing was, the data wasn't just garbage or static. No, it was perfectly structured. The probe's computers were sending signals saying, hey, everything's great up here. But the telemetry data, the actual scientific readings, was telling a totally different story. It was like talking to someone who's telling you they're fine, just calmly chatting, while their house is burning down right behind them. You can just imagine the scene at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. The one thing they could always count on had suddenly become a total mystery. Engineers were just scrambling to find an answer, any answer, that made sense in the loneliest place humans have ever reached. So the investigation that followed went down a few different roads. Some of them were all about meticulous engineering work, and others sit right on the very edge of science fiction. This, of course, is the most logical explanation, and it's what NASA's investigation is really focused on. The idea that after nearly 50 years of working nonstop in a super hostile environment, the machine is just wearing out. And look, the case for system failure is pretty strong. The engineers think the problem is probably in what's called the Flight Data System, or FDS. That's the part that packages up all the science and engineering data before it gets sent to Earth. They think a single memory chip, probably fried by a stray cosmic ray after all these years, could be causing the system to pull data from the wrong places. That would create a data packet that looks perfectly fine on the outside, but is just filled with nonsense on the inside. A breakdown was always going to happen, and this weirdly specific behavior is actually their biggest clue. But while the engineers are focused on the most likely cause, the pure strangeness of what happened, it leads you to think about more dramatic possibilities. Like, what if the problem wasn't internal? What if it was external? We have this idea that space is just empty, but it really isn't. Interstellar space is this thin soup of charged particles, really complex magnetic fields, and all sorts of phenomena we're only just starting to figure out. So, is it possible Voyager passed through some weird region that messed with its electronics in a way we've never seen before, distorting its signal before finally cutting it off? Okay, and this is where we totally leave the engineering lab and step into the realm of pure speculation. This is the theory that no one at NASA is officially working on, but it's the one that really captures the imagination. What if this wasn't an accident at all? You gotta remember, Voyager isn't just a science probe. It's carrying a message in a bottle, the Golden Record. It's this collection of sounds and pictures from Earth, specifically designed to tell anyone who might find it who we are. It was an impossible long shot. But what if it wasn't? So in this scenario, that weird data wasn't a glitch. It was the result of an interaction, something studying the probe, trying to figure it out. And the final silence? Maybe that was on purpose. A response, or maybe even a warning. Maybe the silence is the message. And then there's one last possibility. This one is a little more philosophical. It has less to do with broken hardware or aliens and more to do with the fundamental nature of the universe itself. What if Voyager crossed some kind of boundary? Not a physical wall, but a cosmic one. A place so incredibly far from us that the laws of physics as we understand them start to get a little weird. A region where our kind of communication just becomes impossible. So it didn't break, it just vanished from our reality. So you see, no matter what the cause is, whether it's a busted memory chip or a deep cosmic mystery, the result is the same. A line of communication that we maintained across the entire solar system for almost 50 years has been cut. Voyager 1 was our proof. It was proof that we, humanity, could touch the void, that we could send a tiny piece of ourselves out into that great cosmic dark. And now it really feels like the darkness has just reclaimed it. So whether it's just a dead machine, a cosmic puzzle, or maybe the very first artifact of humanity be found by someone else, its journey isn't over. It will keep going, probably outliving all of us, sailing on through the galaxy for millions and millions of years. And as it drifts on, we're just left here to wonder, what really happened out there, 15 billion miles from home? And what else is waiting for us in all that silence between the stars?